Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture. Bring on the host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Hello everyone, I'm Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs and the host of Vegas Rock Dog Radio. On today's show, I'm talking about toxic materials that you store your pet's food in and your own food. We're talking about dogs and an internal clock and other fun stuff, so stay tuned.
Let's bring on the host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Sam, I'm your host. I am the queen of rock and roll dogs, and this is Vegas Rock Dog Radio. We are a rock and roll show all about pets, people, and pop culture. Your mic's open, Jim, by the way. I can hear you huffing and puffing in the corner.
Yeah, you're deafening me with your ear volume today. I'll tell you that.
You know what? I am a little bit congested. Sometimes that's how it goes. Sometimes I can't hear. Anyway, everyone, welcome to the show. I'm sure you heard Jim do a big sigh over there. Welcome to the show. We are a show all about pets, people, and pop culture. Got a great show lined up for you today. Lots of information, lots of research, actually, on this particular show. But before I do any of that, let me tell you where you can find us on the internet elsewhere. So, of course, we have our website, and that is vegasrockdogradio.com. Once in a while, and you'll like this pun, we will pop up on Periscope. Of course, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr, and Instagram. And we have a blog, therockandrolldog.com. And if you miss a live show, don't worry, you can always catch up. You can catch up on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spoke by SiriusXM, and Spotify. Finally, we are on Spotify. But if you use a different kind of app to listen to podcasts, because that's what it is after the show's gone live, you'll find us by searching Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Anywhere else, Jim? Have I covered it all there? Oh! I just set up an account on Twitch. Now, Twitch is a social media platform. What are you going to say? You're going to say something smart, aren't you?
No.
You were. What were you going to say?
Twitch is licking his backside right now.
Oh, Mr. Twix. In studio today, Mr. Twix and Miss Thornton. I will post a picture of her on my Poang, which is really her Poang chair.
She's relaxing after her procedure yesterday.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that because we always do an update at the top of the show of what's happened in our lives in the past single week. So, yes, so we've got Mr. Twix, Miss Thornton, Miss Galaxy looks down on us. Make sure we always provide you with a great show. The whole point of the show is to bring you current information, fantastic guests, experts from all around the world, so that with every show you can walk away. There's a takeaway from every show, and that is some piece of information that helps you be a better pet parent, and so that your pets can live long, healthy lives. And of course, we do talk a lot more about about other animals, not just pets. And I know the show's called Vegas Rock Dog Radio. It was never always about dogs. It's really funny, but people just assume that. But Vegas Rock Dog originates from our clothing company that we started 12 years ago for pets called Vegas Rock Dog. Yeah, and that was dog clothing. So when we made the radio show, we just, it became Vegas Rock Dog Radio. And if anyone listens to the show, we talk about all kinds of animals, insects. And what is he doing?
He wore himself out doing something, biting something his tail or his backside. Now he's all tired from it.
He had worn himself out. We better check on that. And that's something we're probably going to talk about today is hot spots, because little mister, he had a hot spot. So we're going to talk about that. And lots of people don't actually know what they are. But they'll say, my dog has a hot spot, but they don't really know what it is. So we'll probably go over that as well. Here's our weekly update. So Miss Thornton, for about a year, she had the tiniest little wart thing, didn't she?
Like a mole.
Tiny little thing on her front of her shoulder. Well, anyway, she scratched it and she made it bleed. So we said, you know what? Let's just take her into the vet. Let's get it removed, get it tested. So that's what we did yesterday. I guess Jim took her. I'd stay with Mr. Twix. But I guess the vet was reluctant to even send it in because it's so small.
And she actually brought it out and showed it to me in the little jar after she did the little... They didn't even... She didn't get put under. They just gave her some, Novocaine and snipped it, she said.
Yeah, because it was really tiny.
And they put a little stitch in there. So
just be done with it, you know. And
so she showed it to me, and she goes, I really didn't even think we needed to send it in, but, if you want to, we can, just to be sure.
And I'd rather do that anyway. It's one of those things where, what is he doing now?
That's her now.
Oh, my gosh. They're making so much noise today.
It's like Barnyard Studios.
It really is. Here's the thing. The longer you leave things, if they do get worse, it's, you always want time on your side. And it's always easier and less expensive to treat low-level symptoms as opposed to something that's advanced. So think about that and, bear that in mind. And if you don't have pet insurance, we don't have pet insurance. We have super healthy dogs. And we're in a position where we can pay for their medical care. Here's the thing, though, with a lot of insurances, you're paying up front anyway. But if you find that your dog has some issues, health-related issues, and it's something that you feel like you may have to be on top of a fair bit, then I would definitely get pet health insurance. Now, a friend of ours, Laura Nativo, many of you know her as the furry dog mother, fantastic trainer, animal advocate. You've probably seen her on TV. She is partnered with Embrace Pet Insurance, and what she told me in an interview, which I'll repost it, about Embrace, I was really impressed because they covered some very unusual treatments. And what springs to my mind, and I want to say this, I want to say a hyperbaric chamber, I think, is one of the services I think that they covered, which is, it helps with rapid recovery, doesn't it, Jim?
Yeah, it's good for oxygenation.
Yeah, so yeah, that's something you do need to consider. We'll do a show. We haven't done a show in a long time on pet insurance, and what we'll do is we'll compare maybe the top 3, top 5, something like that, and see where they fall and what works out best for the pet parent. Another update. We just came back from New York. That's why I'm a little bit congested, because somebody gave me a cough.
Must have been those 180 people on the airplane with you.
Maybe. We just got back from New York because what did we do? Well, what did you do, Jim?
Got to play Carnegie Hall. Woo!
So if you are not from the States,
the venue in the world,
the venue. So, for example, if you're in England, this would be like playing the London Palladium. Like, oh my gosh, we're on this historic, iconic, theater stage performing, and it was a fantastic experience. Tell me who you played with, Jim.
We played, I've been playing with Frankie Marino, and we've culminated a 9-symphony tour this year. Major symphonies. We started with the National Symphony Orchestra at the Kennedy Center a year ago, September, and we finished this month in October with Carnegie Hall, and in between Naples, Indianapolis, Baltimore, Houston.
It's been
and on. Toronto, Omaha. It's been crazy.
It's been a brilliant year, hasn't it?
Yeah, and the shows are well received. Frankie's put together just a wonderfully crafted, high energy, exciting show.
And it was a great experience for me. It's the first symphony show that I've seen that they've done. And when we say symphony show, Frankie Moreno has this show. There's 10 members of the show itself. So he's got the horn section. He's got singers, bass, blah, 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 the usual instrumentation. But the symphonies are playing behind them. They're backing them. How many members are in the New York Symphony?
I think we had 90 maybe or 80 members.
I mean, think about that. I mean, this is a dream
New
come
York
true.
Pops.
I don't know if I told you this, Jim, but I was talking to Frankie's dad that night, and I said, "Oh my gosh, you must be so proud." And he said, "I kept thinking of my own dad." He said, "Because my dad, which is Frankie's granddad, when Frankie was a little boy, and he started very young playing piano, didn't he, Jim? Very musical family.
He was a prodigy, a classical prodigy at age 4. It was pretty much phenomenal. He was a phenom.
And so his granddad used to say to him, "You know, Frankie, if you practice, and keep that up, one day you'll play Carnegie Hall." So me and Frankie's dad cried because it was just amazing. And for me to sit in the audience and watch this dream be realized was just fantastic to watch their faces. I mean, truly a brilliant, what we call a life tick in England. It's a life tick. And there'll be many more of those. I am absolutely sure of that. But it was fantastic being in New York. We found what we thought was a lost dog because, gosh, we can't go anywhere without bumping into animals. We were in Central Park and we thought we found a lost dog, but luckily it was not lost. Its owner comes every morning to grab a coffee at this restaurant in the middle of Central Park, and it's called the Loeb Boat House, which is adorable. I suggest you go. But tons of people out walking the dogs, and it just made me smile. At the same time, that week, the Pet Hero Awards was going on at Gotham Hall, and that is part of Hallmark. And we had friends in town who were receiving awards. Now, I've spoke about Willow. I am Willow. Willow was saved from the Korean meat trade by his mum, Heather, and they were there receiving the Emerging Hero Award. And they're from Vegas. Very, very proud. Next year, I'm not sure. I don't know if they alternate between LA and New York, because you don't know this, Jim. One year, Frankie played that exact award show in LA.
Really?
Yeah. Wouldn't that be amazing? Oh, wouldn't that be amazing?
Maybe we'll play the next one.
You play the next one. I'll be there. Oh, my gosh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, you'll receive an award of some sort.
Right. It's always nice when you do receive an award. No one's looking for awards, but when you do, it's really lovely. I've had 2 awards. Have I had 2? I've had 2 awards. I got an award for Power, as in Power, as in PAWER, as in Power Woman in the pet industry by Fighters of Reality. I got an award for that, for the work I do in the pet world. And then the other one was the Red Cross Everyday Hero Award that came so out of the blue.
Well, then we won a Las Vegas award too. We won a 100 Women of Influence or something.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. But I don't think that's very legit anyway.
Why?
Because I can't even get into it.
Politics.
No, not politics at all. A little bit like they did here locally with the Best of Vegas awards. There's no criteria. No one's looking over the candidates. No one's selecting the candidates. It's just a popularity contest. And if you can get enough people to vote for you, I don't know. I just find it a way for them to get traffic and add revenue, personally. So I think awards, when you know that you've been recognized for something, truly been recognized, then they mean the most to me. But yeah, there's a lot of those type of things online, and you're like, I would not like to take credit for that whatsoever. Where was I going with this? So we need to find out. I need to find out where they're going to hold it. LA would be great because it's not far away. But New York's kind of fabulous, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah, we had a good time.
We had a great time, Jim, and I really needed that break. My last update is, I talked about I was designing notebooks because I love notebooks and I like notebooks with animals on them. And I just decided, like I do, I'm just going to design my own. Then they'll be the way I want them to be. Well, they are up on Amazon. You can actually search for me as an author, even though it's a notebook, because my books are listed under my author page as well. So you just look for Samantha Ratcliffe and you'll find me, or Sam Ratcliffe. Or you just search the Wolf Notebook and you'll find it. Comes in blue, comes in pink, and I am just waiting right now for the proof on the cat notebooks. And then we're going to go on to rabbits and, who knows, unicorns.
A book for every animal.
For every animal.
What about hedgehogs?
I was going to say, especially people, for animals that people really love, but you never see, like a notebook for a hedgehog or a guinea pig or a sloth.
You got to do hedgehogs.
Hedgehogs are so cute. So I'm designing them, and I'm pretty much trying to release 2 designs a week, like one animal, but two colors in the notebooks. And I experimented. I did one with a glossy cover, one with a matte color, but it's more like a wax, and it's fabulous. So I now know what I really, really like. And so you can get them on Amazon. So you'll look for the Woof notebook. You'll look for the Woof Woof notebook. Then there's going to be a Meow notebook and a Meow Meow. And then what sound did rabbits make? How'd you write that? That's so horrible. That needs to stop. That needs to stop.
Sounds like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, it does. It's not right. Fava beans. Fava beans. Okay. Let's move on with the show. I'm looking at, and this is totally off topic here because I have to have the phone up. I have to have my iPad up. My sisters, I have 4 sisters. One of them is a twin sister. And my nieces and nephews, no, it's just the nieces. Oh, no, you know what this is? Gosh, I'm not there. I'm gonna have to Photoshop myself into these pictures. It's my niece is getting married in November. We'll be off to England for that. But the theme was Halloween brides, I think, or Halloween wedding. Oh my gosh, my sisters look amazing. And this is for what we call the hen do. What do you call it here? A bachelorette party?
Mm-hmm.
We call it a hen do. Oh, it looks amazing.
Is that where they're all dressed like witches?
Yes. Oh, they posted it already.
Yeah.
I've just got it in a message. Anyway, I am just... oh, gosh. I really need to stop looking at these messages right now because I've got a friend that just got pulled over for speeding. Oh, my gosh. It's one of those days. It's one of those days. Okay, so next week is Halloween. Now, a couple of days ago, I was on Fox 5 here in Vegas on the More Show, my favorite show. I've been going on there for over 10 years, which is crazy. Every time I go on, I like to take different animals with me. So I reach out to my friends and say, can I have 2 of your dogs? Can I have 3 of your dogs? Well, anyway, we had 3 dogs for this segment, and it's Halloween pet safety tips. We had Layla. She came as a witch with her little witch's hat on a jaunty angle. We had Snooky. I always call her Snooky from the doggy beach. Yeah. from the Jersey Shore, the doggy shore. And she came as a skunk. She was hilarious, I have to tell you on camera. And then I had Louis, who came as a unicorn. And then Louis decided he wanted to take his costume off when I'm doing a segment about don't dress your pets in costumes if they don't like them. And I've seen him in that costume so many times. He's totally fine. The minute he gets on air with me, he decides he's acting like he's getting out of a straitjacket. Oh, it was ridiculous. Anyway, that's why I love live TV and live radio, because you just don't know what's going to happen. And it's real life. And I think that's important. No one is perfect. No one is a perfect pet parent. No pets are perfect. You're just doing the best you can. So I want to go over these Halloween tips for you. And every year, Mr. Twix writes this article. Yeah, this is his article in his words. Here we go. Woof woof. Mr. Twix here. Halloween is a fun, fantastical time of the year for families. But is it as fun for pets? In our house, it's a bit of a living nightmare. He said, me and Miss Thornton, and back when he wrote this one, Miss Galaxy was here. We say we absolutely, with a passion, hate anyone knocking on our door. We're not fans of screaming, laughing children in weird costumes either. It's so scary. So I've put together my top 10 tips to help your pets, and we want you to feel safe and them to feel safe and not scared, but still enjoy Halloween. So here are Mr. Twix's tips. Halloween lights. When decorating with lights, be strategic where you place them. If your cat or dog chews on the glass or the plastic bulbs, they could cut themselves. If they chew on the cord, they could get a life-threatening electrical shock. So be very clever where you actually place them so that they can't access them, especially cats, because, they're nimble little things and get everywhere. There are some chemical dangers, believe it or not, with Halloween. Did you know that glow sticks contain a chemical? And when you chew it and you ingest it, it can cause a chemical burn?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
We used to cut those open and spray them all over our clothes. As kids, we didn't know.
And don't do that either.
Well, we didn't know. That's what we used to do.
Let's talk about fire dangers. If you're a pumpkin lover, and I think people are really into pumpkins this year, they're spray painting them all kinds of colors, ombre, or you name it. Anyway, but if you are a pumpkin lover and you like to place them outside in your home, candles, that kind of thing, place them where your kids and your pets can't knock them over. Kids and fur babies should never be left alone with any kind of lit candle, be it on its own or in a pumpkin. Food decorations. Lots of people do decorate with food. Christmas is like that too.
Yes, and they make it all glazy.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
But ingesting decorative corn and pumpkin can cause some big stomach upsets. And as you know, when pets eat them, they'll eat them in large amounts. They don't go, oh, I'll have a nibble. And they're going to have problems and possibly blockages. So place food temptations out of your pet's reach. You do not need to be going down to the vet with a blockage and an ill pet, because that's going to be an expensive surgery. So be very careful if you are going to use them again, that your pets can't get their paws on them. Now, you may love chocolate. I only love English chocolate, as many of you already know, because I'm the chocolate snob, and that's okay.
And your pet may love chocolate as well.
I think, you know what? I think I saw something in the news about Hershey's chocolate. Something about, the price of Hershey's is going to go up. I'm like, no worries. I was never buying it in the first place.
You're so snobby.
It saves me money.
So
oh, come on.
You're so snobby.
You would never.
You know what?
Would never eat Hershey's over a Cadbury's Flake.
Different strokes for different folks.
Oh, please.
There's millions of people worldwide that love Hershey's chocolate. You should not bash them.
Says the husband, that gets mad if I don't share my English chocolate with him.
Yeah, doesn't mean you have to go around bashing my hometown chocolate.
It's disgusting. No. You don't own Hershey's. Why are you taking it so personal?
You don't have
chocolate is not a person. Relax, yeah?
They're gonna tell you. They're gonna come tell you things.
I've converted many a Hershey's lover into an English chocolate lover, and they've been very happy for the conversion. So there you go. But you may love chocolate, but all chocolate is bad for pets. The darker the chocolate, the more dangerous and lethal. If poisoned, they will vomit, they can have diarrhea, rapid breathing, increased heart rate, and seizures. Other sweeties and candies contain artificial sweeteners. Xylitol is the word you're looking for, and that can be also poisonous to your pets. You'll find that in mints, chewing gums, those kind of things. And, there's always that one neighbor that thinks they're giving you a healthy snack of sugar-free. It's probably got xylitol in it, and the kids don't even like that. So they do contain this very dangerous artificial sweetener called xylitol. And if you start seeing a loss of coordination and seizures in your pet, you must get to your veterinarian immediately. And tell your children never to feed sweets to your pets. Put them in a container with a lid on it, high up in your pantry, away, away, away. Now, that also includes the wrappers, because pets aren't going to unwrap the sweets or the chocolate. They're going to chew through the wrapper as well. Again, super dangerous, can cause blockages. So that's your candy update there. You do not need to be making a visit to the vet for that. That is bad, bad news. Really, but don't think, they look okay. Sometimes symptoms can come a little bit later, and you don't want that. Okay, now let's move on to dress up or to not dress up. Not all pets enjoy wearing clothes or costumes, like I mentioned earlier. Sometimes they like it for a few times, and then they decide to take it off while they're in the middle of a TV segment. And I know it's fun to see them in costume. They look cute, but don't dress them up if they hate it. They'll make it clear if they don't, and you can opt for Halloween bandanas or collars or bows or bow ties if that's the case, and you can still include them in that. When dressing your pets, ensure they're comfortable and never cover their faces, their ears, their mouth, their nose, and never put them in a costume where they can't move properly. That's really important as well. Now, you're not going to believe this, but your pet can be a target at this time of year. And horrible stories litter the news headlines with stories of injured, poisoned, and stolen pets. Black cats are synonymous with Halloween, and black cat adoptions often stop leading up to Halloween. So in some shelters, it's a common practice to just stop them from the whole month of October, because there are some not so nice people out there. And what can you do to help your pet prevent your pet from being a target. Well, this is what I would say. Padlock your gates to prevent intruders coming into your property. Lock your doggy doors and your cat flaps on Halloween, and actually leading up to it. Supervise your pets when they go out to the bathroom and play. And never leave your pets alone in the garden. And this is what you do need to do, because you see this a lot, and it's not a myth. It happens. Scan for treats, food, or any kind of poison chicken bones thrown into your garden.
Yeah, people do that. That's
do.
weird.
There are some wicked people out
like
there.
They chuck garbage and bones into people's yards.
They do. And this also happens in parks where people
Did that
are walking.
happen to us a while ago?
We had a chicken bone. Oh, yeah. And we're vegetarian. So guess what? Wasn't us. Was not happy about that. Just remind me to talk about the wind and trash. Just remind me, because I have a tip coming up.
Okay. When do you want me to remind you of that?
In a second.
Okay.
So you're going to look for these, dangerous and poison foods and treats when you're walking your dogs as well. Now, what do you do on the night itself? To be honest with you, I personally I'm never comfortable with any strangers coming to my door on Halloween or any other night or day. I just don't answer the door. But noisy strangers in odd costumes are really scary to my dogs. The constant opening and closing of doors is a danger, and it's not worth putting your pets through this stress. So take the same approach as you would with thunderstorms. Place your pets in a secure room away from the front door. Give them toys. Turn on the TV. Never risk them taking off. You can use a baby gate. If you are going to trick or treat, please use another barrier. And it's a scary night for a lost pet. It's a really scary night for a pet to be lost. And that leads on to IDs and chips. Update your pet's chip info. Make sure they are wearing a collar with a tag. And the odds of reuniting your pet increases when you chip and tag your fur babies. If you've lost your tag, write on the inside of your pet's collar. That's a quick fix, a very, very quick fix. In emergencies, and I hope you never have to call, but you'll have your vet and you'll have your emergency vet cell number at hand, and also have the Pet Poison Helpline at hand. And the website is petpoisonhelpline.com, 24/7 Animal Poison Control Center. An expert is just a call away. The number, 855-764-7661. There is a $59 incident fee, which if you've got a pet that's been poisoned, you don't know what's going on, what to do, it's worth $59. But you know what will save you the $59? Follow all of my tips. You won't have to. Now, there are other ways you can celebrate with your pets. Every year we kind of dress up and we go for a walk, don't we, Jim? So we usually pop up to Boulder City.
Do it in the morning.
We just dress them up, go for a little walk. We dress up. Following the walk, we take our pups to have a puppuccino and some treats at Starbucks. And here are some other things you can do with your pets. You can attend Halloween pet events. There are 1,000,001 of them going on right now. You could bake some homemade pumpkin treats. You can make frozen treats. So easy. Unsweetened pumpkin from a cow. Yogurt. Mix. Put it in ice cube trays. Boom. Healthy treat. You can take Halloween photos. There are lots of places that are offering that. Or you can do your own. And you can enter some online Halloween pet photo contests. And just remember this. You don't have to be a doggy downer at Halloween. Just create your own safe traditions and have a howling good time. Can you howl, Jim?
No.
Okay, it's different. And on that note, let's take a quick break. Let's run a commercial. And when we come back, let's talk about other things to do with animals. We'll be right back. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Pet Scene Magazine is dedicated to Las Vegas pets and the people who love them. It's a source of news and information for pet lovers, as well as offering valuable coupons and specials on pet products and services. Find them online at www.lvpetscene.com or look for them on Facebook.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. I want to say a big hello to our new listeners. Hello there. Thank you for joining us live on a Saturday morning from Las Vegas. It's a beautiful day today. We love this time of year because everything kind of cools down. We're nearly 90 degrees this weekend. But to us, that's cool. Great. We can actually get out with the dogs in the morning, and just relax and chill out. My garden's looking great. Oh, my garden was hanging on by a thread during summer. Like, really? I'm barely alive. But come this time of year, it's like spring almost, isn't it, Jim? The way everything starts to bloom. Yes. Oh.
My mic wasn't on. Yeah. October's been fantastic this year. Usually it's cold by now. But
it's been amazing. We've been 10 degrees above. It's so lovely. So many great events. Lots of pet events outside, which I really love. So it's a good time. It's a good time. So let me tell you what I want to talk about next, yeah? Let me tell you what I want to talk about next. Actually, this is very, very short. It's very, very short, this one. But we were at an event recently, and there was a service dog training company there, and one of the trainers was there, and one of the dogs had a prong collar on. And you look at something, you go, there's two things that don't go together.
I mean, hidden.
It wasn't hidden, no.
Oh.
That was just like, ugh. And you look and you go, that doesn't make sense to me. Two things that just do not go together. So, and I am seeing this across the country, service dogs, therapy dogs, being trained with prong collars, shock collars, and choke collars, which, as we know, they are aversive methods of training. Basically, they hurt, harm, cause discomfort, and it's a very negative way of training an animal. And it just doesn't make sense to me. And it's just really, really bizarre. But I found this article, and I think this kind of leads into how people choose these methods. I'm not going to go through the whole research piece because it's long, but I will post the link to it. But I will do the abstract part of it, and it's called Barriers to the Adoption of Humane Training Methods. The use of aversive dog training methods is associated with risks to animal welfare, yet most dog owners continue to use positive punishment and negative reinforcement at least some of the time. This study reviews the barriers to the adoption of humane dog training methods by the general public. Lack of knowledge of the welfare risks, the poor quality of much information that available to dog owners, should they decide to seek it out, or maybe listen to my show, they'll get the information. And lack of regulation of dog trainers, that's a big issue for me. And theoretical and practical knowledge of dog training will all affect people's choice of method. The differing positions of animal behavior and veterinarian organizations and dog trainers may contribute to the idea that there is a lack of consensus on appropriate methods. I think it's getting better. I actually do think it's getting better because I'm in the middle of all of this. I feel that veterinarians they're not versed in this because they're not trainers. I know people look at the veterinarians like they know everything about animals, training, nutrition, the whole thing. They don't. They don't know about training unless they are a trainer themselves or work with a very well-qualified and experienced trainer. And I mean like a real qualification, not, hey, I've got 30 years experience, because if you've got 30 years experience, you probably haven't done any education, current day education. You're probably stuck with what you learned 30 years ago. And it's very, very different. So the reasoned action approach, which is one of the most extensively tested models in health promotion and psychology, is a promising way of understanding people's intentions and likelihood of using humane dog training methods. Suggestions for future research include developing an understanding of how perceived social norms, and I think that's a key thing here, linked to dog training behavior and the best ways to teach humane dog training methods. I think that's the thing. People see things and they go, oh, is that the way to do it? I don't want anyone going to train their dog as a therapy dog and seeing shock collar, prong collar, choke collar and going, oh, that must be accepted. I mean, these people train therapy dogs and service dogs and they really care about dogs. So there's a big gap somewhere in that's, to me, that made no sense to me. And if you're in that world, you should be reading up, researching. It's there. It's ready for you to consume. It's ready for you to apply. One of the best, in fact, the best, I'm not going to say one of the best, I'm going to call it a Bible. A Bible for dog trainers is Do No Harm Dog Training by, what's Linda's last name? Oh, out my brain. What the heck? Oh, hang on a minute here. Why? Linda Michaels. It's one of those days. by Linda Michaels. It is comprehensive. It covers every scenario, related to dog training, and it's practical and it's easy to follow. Buy it. I linked it yesterday, actually, on my Facebook page. Go and buy this book, whether you are just a pet parent or you are a trainer or wanting to become a trainer. Go and get the book. Join the group. The group, you'll learn so much. It's I would say a very respectful group of people in that group. It's a big group, and you can ask questions. No one jumps down your throat. They want to help. It is so valuable, that group, one of the best ones that I've ever joined. But like it says here, socially, people see things and think that's acceptable, especially if you're a new pet parent. You don't know. I mean, I look back to us 12, 13 years ago. Wow, we're different pet parents.
Well, yeah, we went through a lot of learning.
Yeah, but we actually went through the learning. That's the thing. We actually read. We were interested. We wanted to know. We looked for experts. We improved everything. And not everybody's like that. I've always said this. Some people are a student of life. Some are not. But where do you get your learning from if you're not actually going on the internet? You are looking around socially, how people treat and handle their dogs. And, of course, there are lots of pet myths out there. And if you want to learn some of the pet myths, because I busted them in a show, it's the Big Fat Pet Myth Show. So you can look on our archives and find that one. It's a very, very good research piece. I will link it. As I say, it's big and long, and you probably don't want to listen to it on the entire show today. But I think that's I'm glad we're doing this. But back to the service animals and therapy dogs. When bond is so important, especially to someone who depends on a service dog. I mean, that is, their trust is in that animal. But how can this possibly work when the relationship is dependent on trust and you use a shock collar? And your dog learns that you hurt me. Whenever this happens, you do this to me. And then that bond and trust is not there. But that relationship is dependent on it when you need a service animal. So I have a big issue with it. I have a really big issue with it. There's something going on. I think it's in Ireland. There's some kind of, I want to say it's something like a kennel club or something like that. But if they find out any of their members are using shock collars, they get a warning and a fine, and then it progresses, and they're gone, out and banned.
Is it Ireland or Scotland where they banned them already?
Oh, the shock collars are banned in England.
All of the UK.
Well, actually, it's...
I thought it was Scotland.
Wales did it first. No, was it Scotland? No, it was England. Scotland. Oh, I tell you something. We are on the right track, I tell you. We are on the right track in the UK. We also banned third-party pet sales. So that means you can't go to a pet store where a puppy mill dog comes from, or a cat, and you can't go and buy them online. You will have to go to a registered breeder. I'm talking legit registered breeder. Or you will go to a shelter or a rescue. I think it's great. I also think it's going to impact the breeding of some of these breeds with all these terrible health traits that they've got. When you see a bulldog, for example, and it can't breathe, and it can't walk, and the folds are so big it can't see, that is not the norm. And people are accepting this as, well,
or even
if
it is a norm, it's not a healthy dog by design, and that's stupid.
Well, by the breeding. Here's the thing: the overbreeding, the irresponsible breeding, the demand for certain breeds, bulldogs, French bulldogs, they're churning them out. So I do think over time, and it'll be quite a few years, we may see those breeds looking more like they used to look like decades ago. That's my hope, because we want these animals to be born without any of these horrible health issues that, a short-nosed dog, brachiocephalic. Got that right, Jim. Don't even have it written down.
Wow. You and your words. You and your big words.
And then if I tried to actually read it, I probably wouldn't be able to say it. When they can't go for long walks and they can't run for a long time because they can't breathe. They can't get the oxygen in. Not acceptable. That's a terrible fate for any dog. So I do think with that change, it's going to be a really good thing. And I kind of digressed a little bit there from the actual, How do you feel about service dogs getting trained with prong, shock, and choke collars? And if you are using any of those methods, reach out to me. I will send you the science. I'll send you the research. Not that I think that you need to know that, because I think it's kind of common sense. Choking is choking. Prong is digging in and at the same time choking. Uncomfortable, horrible. Someone donated a prong collar to me for our charity, and I was a bit shocked because first of all I thought, do they not know what we're about, what we do? But I am going to use that for a PSA. I put that on my arm, didn't tighten it at all. I literally laid it on my arm. You can see it digging in my arm. That's without any kind of pressure. It's not acceptable. And so I'm glad that this research is happening so that we can change how people, adopt these humane training methods. Here's one thing you'll like, because you love cars, Jim. Tesla.
Okay, Tesla. Cutting edge. Elon Musk. Risk taker.
Don't we have a plant here?
They make batteries in Nevada.
Oh, is that what they do?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. I kind of like this, but there's a little bit about me. I'm not going to say paranoid, but probably overprotective, as I am. Tesla to make a dog and child-safe car. A Model 3 Tesla owner made this suggestion on Twitter to the CEO of Tesla, old Elon Musk. Yeah, very interesting guy, and his whole family upbringing is really interesting, Jim. Anyway, he wanted the automaker to release a dog mode to keep your puppies safe and cool inside Tesla vehicles.
Oh.
Tesla already has a COP feature, which is a cabin overheat protection feature. They released it in 2016. Did you know about that?
I don't know a lot about the cars because,
you don't have one.
I don't have one.
And they made updates to its software to help with this COP feature. And the automaker described the feature in its V8 software at the time, and this is what he said. In an industry-first safety measure, we're also introducing cabin overheat protection focused on child and pet safety. This feature keeps the car at a safe temperature for hours, even when the car is off. This feature is only made possible by an electric vehicle with Tesla's unique large battery packs. Now, they said here it sounds like Tesla will build onto that feature to create this dog mode. And I say the person that suggested it was a user on Twitter, Josh Atchley. Even if the AC stays on, which Tesla owners can do, he's saying some well-meaning passerby could see a dog in a car and be concerned, which you would be. Typically you would be. Certainly out here, it's too hot. You see it and you go, nope. But H suggested adding a message on the center screen, which is very visible in a Model 3, to let people know that the dog is okay. Another Twitter user jumped in and suggested to make the inside temperature visible to reassure the passerby. And so Musk agreed to that. And he said there's no timeline on the release of this feature. And Musk has been taking many feature requests from owners over the past few months, like a fade mode. And the CEO said that they will be released in future iterations of the V9 software, which started rolling out this month. Will you find out what the fade mode is, Jim? I have no idea.
Tesla fade mode?
Yeah. So my reaction is, oh, no, what if something malfunctions? That's exactly how I think. And then you've also got to consider state laws. I think that's important. You've got to consider the state laws. Here, you can't leave a dog in extreme temperatures. You can't do it when it's hot out, or a cat, or any other domesticated animal. So you can't do that. So I don't know how you roll that out, nationwide. I don't know. I just don't know.
Fade mode is basically just essential information on the screen of a Tesla.
Okay. That doesn't make sense to me, though.
It would black out all the screens for a more minimalist user interface that would only show essential information.
Oh, okay.
So I guess it might be some kind of an energy savings thing.
I mean, this is where I think it would be beneficial.
Teslas are amazing. We should have Teslas.
We should.
They're a little pricey, though.
Yeah.
Gotta make a little more money.
I mean, I can see the potential for it. For example, my friend Laura Nativo, I talked about earlier, she's got this doggy mobile that, if I'm not wrong, has something similar to that she actually had built into it. Because when she travels, she's by herself with 3 dogs. She said, what do you do when you go into the bathroom? And yeah, she has taken 3 dogs with her to the bathroom. They're well trained. But you can imagine there would be a convenience for that. I also see a benefit to that with, if you go camp, what do they call it? Like if you've got Airstream, trailers.
Camping.
But, if you're just if you're traveling and you're stopping at rest spots.
Rest stops.
Even that too.
What
to
do you...
keep it cool while your dogs are in there.
Oh, like you usually have to go to hookups when you're at RV parks.
Yeah, so I see how that could be applied to that, and that would be really good as well. But yeah, there would be some hurdles there. One, I would think mainly is the state law more than anything, is the actual state law itself. But it'll be interesting to see what comes out. Very innovative. Very, very innovative guy. Okay, what do we want to talk about next? Oh, gosh. I think this is really important. And it's not something we've focused on a big deal, but we should. And Jim and I think, need to make even more changes. After reading this article, I was like, So, have you any idea how toxic dog toys, cat toys are, food packaging, how dangerous it is to you and your pets?
I know that there are dangers because we eliminate most of the things. Really, the only dog treat we have in the house is the squirrel.
Yeah.
Dog toy.
And I want to say it's American made. I'm sure of it. It is. It's American made. Oh, that's another thing. When it comes to trying to choose a toy, Thornton has never been a toy dog.
She's not a toy dog.
Ever. Twix, toy, shoe, sock, you name it. When they stayed at our pet sitters, she said it was in and out.
Klepto.
Just stealing things.
Shoes and socks.
Yeah, she had a bit of a tough time. Even though she's been going there 12 years, our pet sitter felt that she really didn't relax, was quite stressed out. And our sitter has 3 big dogs. She's got, are they all huskies now?
No, she
What's
has,
the newest one?
They're like hound mixes and a German Shepherd.
And they're big, and then she had a German Shepherd that she's fostering. But I think it's one of the first time. Is it the first time she's been there without Galaxy?
Yep.
Yeah. So
no. They've been before once.
Right. But she said she was quite stressed out, and she loves Kim, but she feels like she has to protect Kim to the point where Kim's husband couldn't sleep in bed with her because she wouldn't let her on the bed, not any of the other dogs. He had to sleep on the couch. So she was running the show, but stressed out. So where was I going with this? Oh, stealing things, toys, toxic toys. Here we go. One thing that you and I, Jim, need to delve into a lot more are the types of materials our foods are stored in, and that includes our pets too, since we make their food for them. Many types of packaging and storage can contain toxic chemicals that can affect you and your pet's health.
Well, really, the only thing that we know right now as consumers is whether it's plastic is BPA free.
Yeah.
What level of recyclability it is.
There's more.
Oh, here we go.
First of all, guess how many chemical reactions happen in your body every second?
10,000.
Oh, up it.
20,000.
Oh, gosh. No, we'll be here all day. 37 billion chemical reactions happen in the body every second, and any foreign substance can impact your health in a serious way that is in your body, yeah? On your body, in your body. And there are some common materials you should avoid, and let's go through them. You're not going to like this, and I didn't think about this, and I don't like this either. Aluminium foil or pots and pans. And if you are from the States, it's called
aluminum.
There you go.
And, how long have I been telling you that I don't like Teflon coated aluminum cookware? How long have I been telling you that?
Well, it's not actually covered here, but do you want to research Teflon?
No, Teflon's another poison, probably.
Yeah, probably. Here we go.
It's a DuPont product.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Aluminium dishes and containers. You'll see these in restaurants when you order your Uber Eats, which people are doing on such a big level right now. They're used because they're cheap, they're light, they conduct heat very, very well. Think about the sheer amount of people who use aluminium foil in the bottom of the oven. Hello, that's us. Because I don't want a nightmare of cleaning it. Well, it is a self-cleaning oven, but still, they use it to cover pots and pans, even wrap your food in it for cooking and storage. That's us too.
Okay, so what are you going to do?
Here's the danger. It's a toxic metal. It leaches into the food, especially when it's exposed to high temperatures and acidic foods. I had no idea.
Well, I guess that's ending.
It is ending. That's the yeah. It has to.
The end of that.
Yeah. I
It's
didn't.
very convenient because it molds to lids very well.
I know it does. I know, but you do love a press and seal, don't you, Jim?
That's a plastic.
I know.
Though.
Is that dangerous
Is that
too?
next as well?
No, I don't know. You're going to have to search Teflon and press and seal. Now, the research shows that aluminium can increase the rates of breast cancer in genetically predisposed women, and it accumulates in the brain and nerve tissue. It suggests that it increases levels of aluminium correlated to the incidence of Alzheimer's disease, but this connection has not been completely confirmed. But saying that, Jim, I've been hearing this for quite a few years myself, that is a contributing factor. Ideally, avoid cooking and packaging food in aluminium and use glass containers instead. Think how many times you have pizza, you're like, I'll just wrap it in this foil, shove it in the oven. Oh!
My new favorite yogurts that we buy now are little glass jars.
With
aluminum foil lids. Jeez.
Just have to make my own.
Just can't get away from it.
Let's move on to tin cans. Oh, I'm sure that if you're listening to this, you're thinking the same thing. Like, oh, come
tin
on.
Tin cans, the genius of World War II technology.
Yes. Here's the problem, though. Canned foods have been around forever and a day, like you said. World War II, did you say?
Yes, Chef Boyardee.
What?
Oh, my gosh.
What?
Chef Boyardee was a legend. He helped the war effort by creating canning methods that preserves food.
I didn't know that.
Heck yeah.
I didn't know.
It's
I
as
just
old
thought it
as-
was. I thought it was a
it's
chubby
as
little
old as
chef
my-
on a label
No,
with a chef's hat on and
It's as old as my military history
With-
roots go.
with horrible ravioli
No, he
in
was
a tin.
he was a national treasure because he learned how to safely can food for rations for soldiers.
Wow, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. We'll take our hat off to him for that. But it has been around forever and a day, and it is the most common way of preserving food. But there is a hidden danger, and this is what it is. There's a protective. They probably didn't have it back then, though. A protective lacquer finish inside the can. It contains bisphenol A, commonly known as BPA. It's a xenoestrogen, a chemical that imitates estrogen hormones and seriously affects fertility and hormonal balance. That's shocking me as well. Don't like that. Oh, good grief. But there is a pet food. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but their food comes in tins, but they don't have that stuff inside, that BPA inside. What are tins made of?
Tin. Tin is made of tin.
I want to say they're made of something else, but I know that they don't have anything toxic in them.
Steel.
It might be.
Tin is a form of steel.
No, I don't know. But whatever it is, it doesn't have that awful lining.
Like the sardine cans.
Yeah. But, have you seen? We bought the sardines that had a foil lid. Remember them?
No, I didn't see those.
Oh, yeah, we had a few of those for a while. Let's move on to plastic containers. I think this is a big one that most people know about. Plastic is a big topic of conversation these days for the environment and how it impacts wildlife and ocean life. I mean, can we talk about straws anymore? Like, really? But there's not much emphasis on how it impacts our own health. And there are many reasons why we should avoid or at least reduce the use of plastic when it comes to food packaging and storage. And let's talk about bisphenols. They're toxic fillers and colorants and have been found in pet toys and children's toys as well, especially the ones that were made in China. That's why it's important to find out where these products are made. Each country has different standards. As we know, plastic does not disintegrate, does not break down. It is not natural. And the microscopic particles, as mentioned earlier, affect the lives of marine animals, from plankton to krill to fish and marine mammals. And think of how many people use plastic water bottles. Again, avoid using them. Opt to use glass and stainless steel water bottles. I do recommend the stainless steel water bottles. They are fantastic, and they will keep your hot drinks hot and your cold drinks cold for many hours. This also includes your water delivery service as well. Usually the big gallon, whatever they are, 5-gallon things come in plastic, but there are some companies that will provide huge glass containers. Probably a little bit heavier, but safer. And this is one to consider. Supplement bottles over time. They degrade and they leach. And then you take your supplements. So opt for companies who use glass bottles. And you may pay a little bit more because it is more expensive than plastic. But it is worth it for your health. Now here's one. For your health, sorry. Here's one. Polystyrene is what, Jim?
Styrofoam.
Yeah, polystyrene.
What's this coffee was just in that
Do
I
you
drank?
know? I was just thinking the same thing.
Yep.
It's styrofoam.
Yeah.
Covered in a label that makes it look like it's paper, but it is not a paper cup, and it's got a plastic lid.
Yep. There you go.
We've just violated ourselves.
Hot coffee in a styrofoam cup with a plastic lid.
Yep.
And ink on a paper cover.
Yep.
There you go.
Mainly used by restaurants and convenience stores, petrol stations, gas stations. And it's worth asking if they have any other kind of packaging, especially if it's food. You know, you're doing your takeaways. And like I said, the coffee, I looked at it myself. I gave it a flick to make it, see if it sounded like styrofoam. I think about it, hot drinking styrofoam. Oh.
Yeah, there you
Makes
go.
me shudder.
That's
And
off the list now,
we're
too.
doing it right now.
Good, you're saving me money.
I am. Some countries and states have banned polystyrene, and polystyrene has been labeled as potentially carcinogenic, and burning polystyrene releases 51 artificial and mostly toxic chemicals. One of the most dangerous ways of using styrofoam is to put hot tea or hot coffee in a styrofoam cup that is right in front of my face.
Yep. You've just started saving me money.
I mean, rarely do we actually get these, but good grief. Here's the last one. Phthalates in dog toys and medical equipment. Phthalates are used in plastic toys and medical supplies, such as IV tubing, because they make them more flexible and they're harder to break. These substances appear to be hormonal disruptors with anti-androgenic effects. Don't know what that means. Can you look me that up, Jim?
What, androgenic?
Androgenic effects. Anti-androgenic.
Anti-androgenic.
This means it may reduce the ability of males to reproduce.
Androgynous.
Some phthalates are possibly carcinogenic, and others have been connected to asthma and allergies. So to kind of summarize all of that, it's like, stop. There are many toxic and artificial substances around us, and being aware of the dangers and avoiding them is a good move to make. It aids in protecting you and your pets. And this is what I've seen a lot, that doctors, particularly those that are really focused into a lot of holistic stuff, they will recommend a liver detox once a year, and so do holistic veterinarians. So I might do a little bit of research on that, and we'll probably post what that once a year detox looks like. But all of a sudden, I'm just turned off my coffee. All of a sudden, I'm looking around. Mm-hmm. What is soundproof foam made of?
Well, you're not eating it.
Yeah, but are there any chemicals in it?
You know, sure there are. It stinks.
I mean, we've got plenty of those in the studio. Mm-hmm. Oh, my gosh.
Good thing we're heading down to the polls today after this.
Why? What's one of the questions?
I don't know, but whatever affects all of this stuff, we'll vote against it.
I don't think it's on the ballot, though, is it?
Probably not.
So, yeah. But, you know, it is something that I need to address when it comes to making my dog's food, because I freeze a lot of it. So I know we're looking at plastics and saying, it's free of what's the number, Jim, again?
BPA.
Free of that, but are they truly that safe, though? I think that's the big issue. Are there alternatives? And in my mind, I was thinking, well, I wonder if it's worth getting a food sealer, but then what is that plastic made of?
Plastic.
You know, so now are we just going to have to invest in a crazy amount of Pyrex dishes? And then they have plastic lids. You know what? I think it's a topic, particularly for raw feeders and anyone that stores their pet food. I think it's a topic that I really need to delve into and try and find some solutions for everybody and for ourselves as well. I'd like to be able to, have a great recommendation. So I will start my research on that. I'll start looking around, asking around, and see what is the best method, the most economical way of doing this if you actually have got to store lots of dog food or dog treats that you make, that kind of thing. Yeah. I'm sure I've just mortified a ton of people that just listened into this show right now. Maybe I put them off their coffee as well. Well, I don't know. Let me see if I want to cover one more topic. Let's have a little...
You got about a minute to get it in.
Oh, no, I can do whatever I want. This is my show.
Oh, pardon me.
Actually, let's do this one. This is the last one. It's a fairly big one, but this came out of the UK. A dog's color could impact longevity and increase health issues. So the study of more than 33,000 Labrador retrievers in the UK of all colors, they found that chocolate Labradors have a higher incidence of ear infections and skin disease. And these findings were published in an open access journal, and it was Canine Genetics and Epidemiology Today. Part of the university's Vet Compass program, which I know about this, it collects and analyzes electronic patient data on dogs, and the research is being replicated in Australia, where labs are the most popular breed over there. In the UK, the median longevity of a non-chocolate Labrador is 12.1 years, which I'm going to say is longer than the States. Jim, can you look that up? Life expectancy for chocolate Labradors in the US. I'm sure it's less. And that's more than 10% longer than those with. Oh no, sorry, that was non-chocolate Labradors, and then that was 10% longer than those that had chocolate coats. So the prevalence of ear inflammation, which is called otitis externa, was twice as high in chocolate labs, who were 4 times more likely to have suffered from pyotraumatic dermatitis, also known as the hotspot.
12.1.
Yeah, but that's the UK. Any of the US, I think it's lower. The lead professor was Paul McGreevey, and he's the university's Faculty of Science, and he said the relationship between this coat color and disease was quite a surprise to the researchers, and these findings the UK findings may not hold in Australian Labradors, but he said it warrants some investigation. And the relationships between coat, colour and disease may reflect an inadvertent consequence of breeding certain pigmentation. So we kind of talked about that
The brown
earlier.
ones don't live as long as the...
Yeah, but what are the US statistics?
Can't find it.
Really? And because chocolate colour is recessive in dogs, the gene for this colour must be present in both parents for their puppies to be chocolate. And breeders targeting this colour, and I know it is a popular colour of dog, targeting this colour may therefore be more likely to breed only Labradors carrying this chocolate gene.
But browns are not the ones that live as long.
Yeah, but I want to know what the US statistics were compared to the UK, because they think it might be different in Australia as well. It may be that the resulting reduced gene pool increases a higher proportion of genes conducive to ear and skin conditions. So across this entire lab population, they said that these most common health conditions that they found were obesity, ear infections, and joint conditions. So I can see where the joint conditions come in following obesity, absolutely. And they found that they said 8.8% of the UK labs are overweight or obese, one of the highest percentages among dog breeds in their Vet Compass database. So that's not good. I mean, all my friends that have labs, they go, oh my gosh, they have a voracious appetite. Like if you just kept putting food in front of them, they just eat. But you've got to walk your doggies, and as much as you think you're loving them with lots of food, no. One of the best things you can do for your pets, make sure they're at a healthy weight. Anyway, they said that this prevalence was higher amongst male dogs who had been neutered. So Lab Retrievers Under Primary Care in the UK was co-authored with colleagues from London's Royal Veterinary College, where the Vet Compass program began in 2007, and it was a collaboration with the University of Sydney. So Vet Compass Australia now operates as this consortium comprising of all Australia's veterinarian schools, and it's supported by the Australian Research Council, which I think is wonderful. So we'll do a little bit more follow-up on that, but it's very, very interesting how colour is playing a role in labs. Very interesting to see if it also plays that same role in other breeds as well. And if you've got a lab that's overweight, you can change that. You can improve their health dramatically by getting them to exercise, watch their food, and don't let them carry that extra weight, because you may not think it's a lot, but for a dog, you put on a pound, that's a lot of strain on the heart, the lungs, the knees, the back. You don't need that for them. You want them to live long, healthy lives. So there you go. I say lots of research today, lots of great studies coming out. It's amazing that so much research happening right now, just way more than you would have heard about 20 years ago. And I think that in particular, I think really helps with the whole breeding thing. You don't want a dog to start off its life with health issues because of this crazy overbreeding and demand for the newest style. You know what I mean? It's almost like fashion every season. And this is what these breeders do. This is what these bad breeders do. And I don't mean legitimate breeders, because legitimate breeders really care about how their dogs, how are they all health-wise, how they look. That's a real breeder. A real breeder, you're going to see the parents. A real breeder is not going to be breeding God knows how many litters a year. You'll be able to go to their home because the dog should be in the home, that kind of thing. Really important. But you've got, let's not be naive and think that we don't have, backyard breeders and puppy mills. And a lot of puppy mills are going, what do people want? Oh, let's breed.
Tiny dogs.
Oh, let's breed a Frenchie with a bulldog. Oh my God, that would be an amazing hybrid. And people love those two breeds. And you can see where problems would arise from that. Okay, 11:06. I did that in 7 minutes. I did pretty well with that one. Well, we have come to the end of the show, and I'm not going to drink the rest of this coffee out of this polystyrene cup. All these links, my lovely listeners, will be on my Facebook page. So you never have to run and grab a pen. And if you are listening to the archive show, scroll through the show notes and you'll find every single link on there as well. Well, that's it. We've come to the end of the show. If you've liked the show, I'd love for you to share it on your smartphone, on your laptop, on your iPad.
They always like the show.
I know.
They always like it.
We like to have fun on our show.
All right.
We like to have fun. Have lots of information. I mean, we cover some really rough topics, but we always seem to have a little fun along the way in every single show. There is always an option to share on your phone, on your iPad, on your laptop. Share. Tell your friends all about the show. Let's grow our listenership even more. We are a worldwide listenership. I was checking out the countries, Jim. There's a lot of countries that listen to the show. Like loads.
30?
State, oh yeah, easily. And the States is on the top. England, Canada, France. We got a lot of really we've got a big diverse listenership, and I absolutely love that. So that's why we don't always talk about everything that goes on in Vegas, because how does that relate to someone in Sydney, Australia? It doesn't, unless they come to Vegas. But
they all want to come here.
We do. Everybody does want to come here, though. But we do a little smattering of what we're doing in Vegas, and there you go. So remember, there are some important things to remember. You can help an animal in need. Either rescue, adopt, donate, volunteer, or share their information. Rescue your next family member. Replace the word shop with adopt. I almost forgot my T there. And be kind to all animals. Thank you, Jim, for engineering the show today, producing the show today. Why?
And what else?
Why are you silent?
Because.
Oh, and doing the research for me today.
And doing all kinds of things.
Get me a coffee and a styrofoam cup. Trying to kill me.
Dealing with you. Dealing with you.
Yeah, because you didn't have the files ready before we start the show. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. And today you've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio, where it is all about our pets, people, and pop culture. I am your host, Sam, and I'm the queen of rock and roll dogs. And always kiss your pets good morning and good night. And I'll see you next time.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture. You've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Visit Vegas Rock Dog Radio for more information. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And subscribe on iTunes and iHeartRadio. And remember, give your fur babies a big kiss from me, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. You must not rely on the information in this broadcast from our hosts as an alternative to medical advice from your veterinarian. If you have any specific questions about a medical matter regarding your pets, you should consult your veterinarian or specialist.